What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Darrell D TV. Thank you for joining me. Uh, got some bad news today. I just found out that Prince Markie D from the Fat Boys passed away. Man, completely heartbroken over that. I'm a huge Fat Boys fan. I have been since day one, from them coming out back in the early to mid 80s. Right around 85, I think, is when they dropped their first single. Um, what's really sad about this for me personally as well is I never got to see the Fat Boys in concert. I never got to see them live. I was still too young when the Fresh Fest, was still rolling around. I was, 13, 12, 13, 14, in those years when those tours were coming around, so I never got to see them. They never came to a city that I was in. After a while they started really blowing up when they started doing a lot of pop songs after about 3 or 4 albums, and they started doing movies and whatnot. And I don't think they were touring as much, at least not in the areas that I was in, that I lived. So I never got to see them live, and I never got to meet any of those guys. I love meeting, people that I admire in music and entertainment, and I just never got to meet any of the Fat Boys. So I know Kurok Ski, he's still around. Hopefully, I'll get to meet him one day. But never got to meet Buffy. Never got to meet Prince Markie D. So as soon as I heard the news, I immediately thought, how about I show a video of all of the records that I have collected from the Fat Boys over the years. And this will be my way of giving a tribute to not only Prince Markie D, but Buff Love, the human beatbox, as well, and the Fat Boys as a group, as a whole. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you some of my Fat Boys vinyl. And keep in mind, I've been buying these records since the 80s all the way up until present day. So let's uh, let's take a look at some vinyl, okay? Now, for those who really know about the Fat Boys, they know that before they were the Fat Boys, they were called the Disco Three, and their first album, or I'm sorry, their first single was actually a song called Fat Boys by the Disco Three, aka the Fat Boys. And there's a 12-inch for that record. So I believe that was their very first single, the Disco 3. That's the first one I want to show you. Soldier Records, uh, classic record, classic Fat Boys material. Then, of course, we come to the first album. This is not only one of my favorite rap albums of all time, but this is one of my favorite covers of all times, and that is the self-entitled first full-length release by the Fat Boys, simply entitled Fat Boys with the Pizza Joint. Check that out. You know what I always thought was cool is look how good that ice cream cone looks that Buff got. Don't that look good? Look how fat that hamburger is. What a cool album cover. And I've got a bunch of these. I got like 3 copies of that. I won't show you all of them. You don't need to see that. Um, One of the first singles from that album uh, was one of my favorite Fat Boy songs, and that's "Can You Feel It?" by the Fat Boys. Doubles of that. Here is, I'm not sure what album this was off of. This is another 12-inch single. This is the Fat Boys in the House. On the B side, this is a song called Breakdown. I'm not even sure if I remember how that one sounds. In the House, Breakdown, 12-inch. Uh, Let's go on to the second album. The Fat Boys are back. I'm gonna make sure y'all get a good shot of that. Fat Boys are back. This had some dope songs off of it. Hardcore reggae, Human Beatbox Part 2, and of course the album title Fat Boys Are Back. Great record. Pretty rare on cassette if you can find that. Here's a 12-inch. This was 1985. Don't Be Stupid. Do y'all remember that record? Don't Be Stupid. I know the Fat Boys connoisseurs remember that song. Don't Be Stupid, and the B-side is Fat Boys Scratch. Okay. Then we're gonna move on to the third album, which was Big and Beautiful. Look at them, looking like some grown men on that, right? They all clean and everything. Look how clean they are. And then, of course, the Aftermath. You know what I'm saying? Check out them Filas. These Filas were $85 back in 1985, 86. I remember seeing them at Foot Locker. And no, I could not afford them then or now. Great album. Fat Boys are back, or Fat Boys Big and Beautiful. Some singles off of Big and Beautiful, of course, was Sex Machine. I know you guys remember that, the James Brown joint. That was a huge hit, huge video. Go check that video out. Buffy scratching on that. And then here's I found this a few years ago. I think this might be an import. Yeah, this is a German import of Sex Machine with the picture sleeve. How many of you have even seen this version of Sex Machine by the Fat Boys? It's got the Sex Machine dub. The beatbox is rocking. Dope German pressing. Oh, I love this record. Fat Boys Crushing. This was their fourth LP. The title song was Crushing, which was my favorite song off of there. This one was not as good as the other ones, especially the first two, but there were songs on here that I absolutely loved. Protect Yourself and My Nuts was about safe sex. Protect Yourself was obviously about using condoms and whatnot, and My Nuts was just another comedy type song that the Fat Boys were very well known for doing. Falling in Love was like their slow jam thing on there. We're going to come back to that because I want to talk about that a little bit more a little later. And then, of course, they had the Beach Boys Wipeout single. Not really my thing, but sold a lot of records and took them to a lot of places. So, yeah, Fat Boys Crushing. Listen to that song, Crushing, if you haven't already. It's a great, great song. Couple singles off of there is Rock Rulin'. This was not only on the Crushin' LP, but it was also on the Disorderly soundtrack, which was one of the movies that the Fat Boys starred in. So yeah, that's the Rock Rulin' joint. And then I showed this on another video, but this is a real cool Fat Boys picture sleeve, or I'm sorry, picture disc. And this is the Crushin' and Wipeout on the B side. So Crushin' on the A side, Wipeout on the B side. Super cool Fat Boys picture disc. If you want to see more of that, just check out my video on my top rap picture disc on vinyl. All right. Again, did I show this one? Yeah, we talked about this. I guess we got another in the house. I guess I got 2 copies of that. Okay, here's when the Fat Boys was really blowing up, selling a lot of records and doing a lot of features. They were really going places, and this was one of their big commercial hits they did. And this was Fat Boys chilling with the refrigerator. Y'all remember Refrigerator Perry? Y'all remember that guy from back in the day? Well, there you have it. Look at that. They even stuck him on the back with his tag there. Fat Boys in the fridge. For those that know, they know. All right, now here's album number 5. This was Fat Boys coming back hard again. You know, they had done a lot of pop records, and people were some of their hardcore fans, like myself, were kind of complaining, like, we want the old guys, you know, we want the old Fat Boys back. So they entitled this one Coming Back Hard Again. Um, but they did put some pop joints on here. This was the album that had the twist on it, you know, the Chubby Checkers joint, and they had the Louie Louie song. They had Are You Ready for Freddy, which was a song about Freddy Krueger and all of that. Nonetheless, it's Fat Boys, and there was some pretty good joints on here too. So, yeah, look at that cover. Is that crazy or what? Cover's bugged out, man. Bugged out. Now, here's a Fat Boys 12-inch. I don't know what this is on or where this came from, but this was this was on Emperor Records, and this was a song called Fly Car. Don't have a lot of info on that, but hey, it's Fat Boys, and Darrell D is that Fat Boys guy, right? Right. Okay, here's a fun one that I want to show you guys. When I saw this, you know, I had to add this to the collection. This is a Fat Boys interview picture disc. Look at that. How cool is that? Come on, tell me. How cool is it? It's very cool. Check out the B-side on there. Bugged out. This reminds me, this just takes me back. Takes me back to the 80s, man, the mid 80s, 85, 86, 87. This was just, that was my era. It was you know, a real fun time for rap. I think it was the most fun time for rap music ever, were the mid to late 80s, you know, and this just takes me back to that time. Now, I've shown other picture discs, interview picture discs on this label. This is like a German pressing, made in England, out of England. And these were not very good in terms of sound. They sound like they were recorded on a tape recorder that was like 10 feet away. You know, you can hear traffic and all kinds of background noise and whatnot. Nonetheless, it's very cool. It's a very cool, you know, a piece of memorabilia. It's a very cool piece of art, and it is still, you know, vinyl, Fat Boys vinyl. So I would definitely recommend that if you ever happen to come across it. And I'm not sure what the name of this label is. Yeah, Back to Back Records. That's right, Back to Back Records out of London, England, and they have a really big discography. They interviewed a lot of people, and there's a good probably 8 to 10 rappers or rap groups that they interviewed back in the day. Now this next one, I don't have the picture sleeve for it because it's actually autographed and framed hanging in my crib. No, I didn't personally get the autographs myself. I found it hanging up in a record store several years ago, and I just had to have it anyway. This is the Fat Boys Disorderlies soundtrack, and there's the record, but the picture sleeve is at the crib. It's basically them, I think they're pushing Buff in a wheelchair or something. It was like a comedy movie, you know. I think they were the stars of that movie. It wasn't any, like, they didn't share the screen with anybody. It was all about them. I think they were working at a nursing home or something, a hospital or something like that. It's been a while since I actually saw that movie. So, okay, let's keep it going. Now we're going to talk about some of, or actually a soundtrack that they're on. One of my favorite soundtracks of movies of all time, and that's Crush Groove. Do I really need to explain how ill this movie is? Run DMC, Curtis Blow, Fat Boys. This was it, man. This was it. Sheila E. This was Blair Underwood's breakout movie, the first movie that he was ever in that kind of introduced him to the world. And I pulled this out because there's two songs on here that the Fat Boys were a part of. Their own song, "All You Can Eat." You remember that scene from the movie Crush Groove, and also they were on the Posse cut Crush Groovin', which is one of my favorite songs of all times. And you want to see something cool? Check this out. Here's a different version of that record with a different picture sleeve. This is bugged out. When I found out this existed, you know I had to go and find this and track this down. So yeah, I found this in Tucson, Arizona. Y'all remember PDQ in Tucson? That's the PDQ sticker. RIP PDQ. So yeah, how cool is that? I just mentioned one of the singles off there, "All You Can Eat." This is the promo 12-inch of "All You Can Eat." And of course, as I mentioned, another single on there, the Posse cut, Run DMC, Sheila E., Curtis Blow, and of course the Fat Boys. This is the promo copy of Crush Groovin'. So now let's talk about the man of the hour. This is Prince Markie Dee. Yes, he was a solo artist as well after the whole Fat Boys thing died down. A lot of people might not know he was also a producer, and he's responsible for a lot of big hits by a lot of rappers and R&B artists from back in the day. This was his first single. It was called "Typical Reasons." Swing My Way. This was Prince Markie Dee in the Soul Convention, and that was his first single as a solo artist. This was a big radio hit too. Don't sleep. I know some of y'all might not remember or be too young, but trust me, that was the joint. So soon after this single came out, "Swing My Way," the full length album came out. Prince Markie Dee, "Love Daddy." So that was the full length. Man, I can't believe he's gone. Man, never got to meet this guy. "Love Daddy," Prince Markie Dee solo joint. Um, Another single off of there that I absolutely love. I played this in a club all the time. If you were into those lubby-dubby kind of macho rap songs, if you were like what the Heavy D guys would do, the Father MC songs, stuff like that. This was a song called "All My Love All the Time," featuring Joe, the R&B singer Joe, and this was a huge club hit. Really, really good single. Check that out. Go to YouTube and check out Prince Markie Dee, "All My Love All the Time," and then leave me a comment and let me know what you think of that song. And then the last record I want to show you, Prince Markie Dee, "Something Special." And this was the third single that he released off of his solo album, "Love Daddy." So there you have it. That's all of my Fat Boys records that I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, but wait, there's more. I'm gonna show you guys some 45s now. I couldn't find all of my 45s, but I found most of them. Again, the Fat Boys at the Disco 3. Gotta show you that joint. 45 flavor. We got Louie Louie. B-side is All Day Lover. Look at this. Look at this. It's ridiculous. These are in no particular order. Fat Boys and the Beach Boys, Wipe Out. But what we really talking about is Crushing. Remember the picture disc I just showed you? This is the 45 version of that. Then we got Fat Boys and the Chubby Checkers with the twist. And those of you young cats that don't know how to twist, they put some directions on the back for you. You know what I'm saying? So you don't mess up and break an ankle or anything. Then we got Fat Boys, Are You Ready for Freddy? Cats look scared, huh? Freddy don't want to come on my block though, because we don't really play that. Fat Boys, All You Can Eat is next up to bat. You want to see what's crazy? The B-side of this is UTFO, Pick Up the Pace. Is that crazy? I can't figure that one out. And it's on Warner Brothers Records. I can't talk right today. Next up, we got Fat Boys, Hardcore Reggae. B-side, Human Beatbox Part 2. We got Rock Rulin', the picture sleeve joint. And earlier I mentioned that the song Falling in Love from the, was that the Crushing album? I believe that was the, no. Was it Big and Beautiful? It was Big and Beautiful, I think. This picture sleeve, and I have this on 12-inch, but I couldn't find it to show you guys. But at least I have the 7-inch that I can show you. This was Fat Boys, Falling in Love, B-side, Protect Yourself, and My Nuts. Look at that picture sleeve. Look at them in the limo. Look at the Dapper Dan joints, man. Look at those. Man, takes me back. Takes me back. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my Fat Boys collection on vinyl, which includes the 45s, which also includes Prince Markie Dee, the man of the hour, his solo venture. And again, rest in peace, Prince Markie Dee. So sad to hear that you're gone. I didn't get to meet you. Maybe another time in another place, brother. As well for Buff Love, Fat Boys Forever. Love you guys. I'll keep this vinyl forever. Thank you for, thank you guys, you viewers I'm talking to now. Thank you for joining me and checking out this video. And we'll see you next time on Darrell D TV.